We begin with new details and new interviews on a case that we have been covering extensively here on News Nation Prime. 5-year-old Summer Wells has been missing for 5 months. Her parents say she vanished within minutes from their home in Rogersville, Tennessee. But months of searching have come up empty. There have been no new leads and no evidence, not even a sighting of Summer. And suspicion has started to turn to her parents, Don and Candace Wells. They have been adamant that Summer was abducted. 5-year-olds don't just vanish.
Don't just vanish.
Where's the daughter? Where is the daughter? What happened? What happened? What happened? Where is Summer, the daughter?
Let me get this straight. You YouTube creators out there think you're gonna solve the Summer Wells case, right? There has been no proof that the family's been involved, but you all have no problem accusing them. I'd be a little careful.
In 1775, the town of Rogersville, Tennessee, would be founded. There would remain a small population, even to this day. There are shortly over 4,000 people. 1 out of every 23 residents will experience property crime. However, 1 in every 359 will fall victim to a violent crime. Those are pretty high statistics for the small population itself, knowing that it's only 4,307 people. The town of Rogersville was once known for its extremely old courthouse and an extremely old post office. In fact, it's one of the oldest in America. But recently, it's been known for the headlines that has spread throughout the country. The name of Summer Wells is slowly becoming a household name. There are a lot of cases that I've explored, a lot of cases that run deep. But this rabbit hole just goes way deeper than the average case does. One of the chilling elements of this case is that if you study and analyze everything, every piece of evidence known to this case, and it's not a lot, and most of it is pure speculation. But when you get done analyzing everything, you will end back up at square one. So I will simply lay out the details and you form your own conclusion, because that's the only way that this can be done. There are no certain answers in this case because there's no concrete evidence. However, there are background stories and chilling details that do bring somewhat of a light to this situation. Tucked away in a rural area of Hawkins County lies a family, the Wells family. The man of the house is Donald Wells, and that is where this story begins. Donald Wells was known as a troubled person. He was what they called a very troubled teen, and even on into his adult years, he admits himself that he spent a lot of time in and out of jail. While Don Wells was living the dark side of life, fate would manage to bring someone in his path. He would be in the state of Arkansas. There, he would meet his current wife, Candace Wells. Shortly after, Don Wells would have a passing in the family, in which then he would be left at acres of property in Rogersville, Tennessee. There would live the Wells family. 4 children, Candace, his mother, and Don Wells. But there was a young star that lived on that property. Her name was Summer Wells. The world would make way for her on February 4th of 2015. Summer was a force to be reckoned with. People describe her as tough as nails. She was a tomboy. She enjoyed doing all of the things that her brothers did. Anything that you can think of that a young country boy would do, Summer did it. Though Don Wells was unmistakably the king of the castle, the queen title was held by Summer. In the year of 2021, Summer would be 5 years old, but she did have an old soul. She's described as being very very mature for her age. I mean, has a lot of intelligence. I mean, she was so mature that she felt like she had outgrown the cartoon Frozen by the age of 5 and had moved on to other things such as the cartoon Paw Patrol. Maybe we had an investigator in the making. June 15, 2021. It would be a normal day for Summer. June 15, something would happen that would rock that town to its very foundation. The queen of the house would disappear and vanish without a trace. And with her disappearance would come the opening of Pandora's box. And with it opening, the skeletons in the closet would slowly be revealed. There's a troubling past to this story, but I don't think anyone expected it to be this dark.
That 5-year-old girl has been missing since June 15th. Her mother, Candace, says that they were planting flowers at the front of the house with Grandma when Summer decided to go back inside the house. Now, that is where her 3 brothers were on the internet, watching TV, and Mom says she then came inside herself and asked the boys, "Where's Summer? Where's your sister?" And those brothers said she'd gone downstairs to play, but nobody could find her in that house.
I was at work and I got a frantic call from my wife, and I said, "Hang up and call 911." And I called 911, and I come from work and drove home as fast as I possibly could and drove to the bottom of our property, and I seen my boys here walking around and my neighbors all looking and searching, and I knew right then that she was gone. Because she don't never leave the property by herself anyway.
On the day that Summer Wells disappeared, there were a lot of odd circumstances. One being the fact that everyone was at the house except for Don Wells, and it just seemed unlikely that someone would come on the property that boldly and take someone. So if someone did take her, it had to be someone familiar with the area, familiar with Summer, someone she undoubtedly knew. With no evidence to clear anyone, suspicion would quickly turn on the parents, and that's when the skeletons in the closet would begin to come out.
As there are 2 aspects to this case: the search for Summer and the investigation into how she disappeared. Part of that investigation has involved looking into the family. As we reported earlier this week, Summer's father, Donald Wells, was arrested last year for domestic assault. News Channel 11's Amy Cockrum has been looking into Wells' criminal past and found he has also previously faced charges in other states.
Josh and Sarah, I spent the day looking into Donald Wells' previous charges in Utah, Arkansas, and Tennessee. The Arkansas charges include possession of controlled counterfeit substances without a prescription and burglary. Those charges occurred between 2006 and 2007. In Utah, Wells faced multiple charges from 1990 to 2001. He pled guilty to attempted aggravated assault, interfering with a public servant, forgery, burglary of a dwelling, and theft. When we asked Wells earlier this week if he would like to address his criminal history, he said, quote, "It's in the past and we'll leave it there," end quote.
Footage would quickly begin to surface of Summer on the day that she disappeared. On the morning of June 15th, I would imagine that this day would be kind of typical for Summer. She ran a few errands with her mom, and then they ended up at a chill spot, a lake, where they go for a short swim. So Candace is there doing what she does, Summer is having fun, and they're accompanied by a 15-year-old boy named Hunter. So Candace, Summer, and a 15-year-old boy named Hunter are here chilling at this lake. Hunter is described as a friend of the family. He comes over, plays with the kids, he's well acquainted with the parents, you know, just a big brother, little sister situation. Now, when this information was released, this is when suspicion was cast on Hunter. Now, when he speaks about the brother-sister situation, in my experience, I understand what he means. I grew up around a lot of children, you know, children that were older than me, and we had a lot of families that we were close with that we considered to be brother and sister of no blood relation. So I understand exactly what he means, but in some people's eyes, a 15-year-old playing with a 5-year-old that has no blood relation to him just seems, I guess, kind of off. Now, when it comes to people casting suspicion, I don't blame you. It's 2022, people are crazy out here, but I have to be honest about this situation and why I feel like he was targeted. Because if I'm trying to tread lightly here. If Hunter was, say, living in a middle-class neighborhood with a nice family, dressed in nice clothes, he probably never would have been targeted in the first place. But because this is an old down country home family and, you know, it's surrounded by problematic situations, he's automatically suspicious just because of his surroundings. And I feel like that's totally wrong. But I'll move on from that situation before I start to get political, because this country is rich against poor, and it has always been that way. So wake the hell up. So now the suspicion is being cast on Hunter as well as the family. But that's not the end of the road, because another person is about to come in play. Because the day before Summer disappeared, Don had an awkward altercation on the job. Don would end up, in fact, firing this employee. He says that this employee came to the job. He was obviously out of his mind, you know, high. And he said it was taking him a couple of hours to complete a short task, and he's just always wired up, so he had to let him go. So Don says after this occurred, he tried to do everything in his power to get back at him, including trying to get him fired, and he feels like he would do anything to try to slander his name or get back at him for taking his job. The authorities said that they checked him out. Turns out that this guy has a solid alibi, so I don't think they're really looking at him too much. Now, Don is very adamant that on the day Summer went missing, he repeatedly told the police, "She's not in the woods, someone took her." But he feels like that they were wasting their time and resources on searching around the area when they should have been hitting the streets and blocking off bigger cities, because in his heart, he just knew that Summer was already gone. So it's just the Wells family and their sea of problems. But more problems were on the horizon. In fact, the problems were just beginning.
We are nearing 6 weeks since Summer Wells was reported missing from her home in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County, prompting a statewide Amber Alert and multi-agency search and investigation. That case not only spreading far, with agencies from all around this area involved, but also with interest from around the world.
Yeah, Ainsley Daniel spoke with the host of the J for Justice podcast, who had Don Wells on the podcast last weekend, where he confirmed how the Department of Children's Services is now involved.
Josh and Sarah, last week we told you the Department of Children's Services was involved in the Summer Wells investigation. Over the weekend, Summer's father, Don, confirmed on the J is for Justice podcast that their other children had been removed from the home.
The rumor is that they were taken out of the home. Were they taken from you guys? Were they? Oh no. Yesterday?
A couple days ago.
Jennifer. Creation, where nothing is real. Nothing but potential steers the wheel. What can you do what you want to do? 'Cause I believe that it's rare. Only badass people do that.
Losing hope. Well, I wonder if I'll ever see her again. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to lose hope, but yeah.
The first rays of the sun hit the fresh green leaves, and a rabbit not many weeks old eats some greens and shows some trust to a perfect stranger. And I want to feel and see more, but I'm trapped inside. I'm a prisoner of the past. Though I know that things don't last. I'm going home, but I don't know the way. If I'm lucky, I'll live halfway. If I'm unlucky, I only have today. What kind of weird plan is this? Needs to be sure.